Hi guys, and welcome back. It's your girl, Yummy.com, and today we are reviewing Birds of Prey on our Tipsy movie review. We're going to be talking about Birds of Prey. Harley Quinn is arguably one of my favorite DC villains.
It's me, dickhead.
And, unarguably, the best character in Suicide Squad. Hear me if you make some noise. She was the best in Suicide Squad. Close second is Deadshot, but let's be real, we all watched it for that Harley Quinn bat. I watched it a little bit tipsy, as you know, as we do on this channel. And I made some notes because I'm an adult. Made some notes so I wouldn't forget, because I was tipsy when I watched it, and I'm tipsy when I'm doing this review, so the world is my oyster. Going into it, I was like kind of hesitant because I was like, this is Suicide Squad. Then I saw it had Cathy Yan, I think Cathy Yan is her name, a female director, and I was like, maybe it's a little bit better, because we all know, to all the boys I loved before, lesson, if it's directed by a woman, it's inevitably better. Let's be real here. Maybe it's my gender speaking and all the hormones I have, but it's usually better. So going into it, my first thought was like, this is very Deadpool vibes, which I love. I loved Deadpool, the first Deadpool, not the second Deadpool. I mean, I loved both Deadpools, but that's not the point. That's not why we're here for the video. We're here for Harley Quinn. I loved the vibe that it gave off. I loved the kind of not taking itself too seriously, especially like it's a Deadpool vibe, I call it, because Iron Man also did it. Like, it didn't take itself too seriously, but it still had to connect to the rest of the Marvel universe, so it had to take itself seriously to some degree. But like, it's like, this was like a whole vibe. First of all, my first question that like I came to my mind when she went through the whole animated sequence was like, what happened in between now and Suicide Squad?
We all know the saying, behind every successful man, there's a badass broad. Well, that was me. I was the brains behind some of Mr. J's greatest stunts. Not that he let anyone know it.
Because obviously her and Mr. J were still in love. Obviously it's not before Suicide Squad, because she talked a little bit about like saving the world. But obviously it wasn't. Maybe it was after Suicide Squad, but he was dead in Suicide Squad. His plane got hit. I guess he can't really kill the Joker, but even so, like, what happened in between? Like,
I'm just forewarning you.
Did you just go back to him and find out there was like story missing, which irked me in my like filmmaker brain, but like in my tipsy brain and my woman power brain, I was like, go ahead girl, you need no man to choose you nothing. So I was like fine with it for the first 20 minutes, and then I started to sober up, and then I drank more. I was fine with it again. But like, that was my first question when the sober hit. It was like my first question. I was like, what happened to the Joker? What happened? Like, how did he live? Like, could we not afford Jared Leto to just give us a little preview? Like, maybe we could have included it in the animation? Like, something, anything. My next point that kind of links with the point after that is that the fight scenes felt very video game. And even, like, some of the, like, when she gets the egg sandwich for breakfast, like, some of the other pieces also felt very video gamey, which I liked. I liked a lot because it's not done a lot. Like, Deadpool, again, like, I'm gonna compare it to Deadpool a lot because that's the only film I have reference to that I think is the same vibe. But I think Deadpool did it in a way where it still felt grounded in reality, but Birds of Prey did it in a way where it felt like it was beyond reality, which I appreciated. It added a lot of color, a lot of spice, gave chance to great actresses, because there's so many great actresses. Like, Sky High's own Mary Elizabeth, whatever her last name is, like, Baby Pacifier was in this joint. She was Huntress, and I loved Huntress. Because I was like, Huntress, who's gonna be with Arrow? Is it Huntress? Is it Black Canary? Oh no, they're a team. Like, it was cute. But it also just like kind of like made me like, okay, anything can happen. Because essentially we don't ever see the Joker fight for real. Like, we don't ever see him hand-to-hand combat like the way we see Harley Quinn fight, and it kind of makes me like, what are her powers in this sustained universe? Like, what is she able to do? What is she not able to do? And how is the Joker in charge of her when she clearly has a wider skill set and a doctorate degree? Shout out to the sisters with the doctorate degree. Don't let no man tell you what to be. But besides the point, it did feel very video gamey, the fights. And like, there was a point where like the cocaine falls on her and she just inhales it, and it's like a cocaine power boost. Like, that's immediately where my mind went. My mind felt like I was playing a video game, but I was like way better than I usually am. And I'm like, because if it's not Sims, I'm not great at it. If it's not Sims or Sing It High School Musical, I suck at a video game. Outside of that, one thing that I really have to give credit for, because I'm someone who likes to listen during a film, is the score. The covers that they did, the scores, and this is like something Suicide Squad did weirdly. Like, they had a lot of music, but it wasn't like properly used. This was properly used covers and music, and this is like what we wanted out of Suicide Squad. When we saw all like the music in the trailers, we were like, oh shit, it's gonna be dope with great music, woo! This was way better. This was way like more relevant to this plot line, and like really impressive. And I really appreciate whoever scored this movie, and my hat comes off to you. Not really, because my hair's not done, but like, if I could, it would be off to you. So I'd snatch my own wig. Thank you. The main fight, now it was like there were two kind of main fights. Like at the end, like there was the whole her going after the car, which I didn't like too much. Like, not that I hated it, but it just wasn't my cup of tea. But the hands fight with the spinning hands, and they were all like taking turns, and like, oh, that was dope. I really liked whoever stunt choreographed that. Like, it was really good to me. Like, it was like comical enough that it made it feel like a comic book movie, which I don't think that a lot of I think that's one of the things that Marvel movies like lack. Like, they always feel so grounded in reality when you know it's not reality, so your suspension of disbelief is just a little bit like, This felt like a true comic book piece, again, like Deadpool, and it's like, oh, anything is possible, especially these 4, 5, 6 women just like whooping ass on these dudes, and I definitely appreciated it. I think it was beautiful the way that it was shot. I think that the music was chosen perfectly. I think like the amount of like comedic stance, especially because you felt that Harley Quinn was in her home territory, and this was truly her movie, even though she had really strong backings. I felt that it was amazing. And the last thing I wrote was, everything's better with a woman. This just proves it. Let's be real here.
Ready to embrace the fierce goddess within.
Suicide Squad, mostly dudes. Except for Katana and Harley Quinn. Mostly dudes. Like, most things are mostly dudes. Made by dudes, produced by dudes, starring dudes. This was just better than like most of the things that are out right now. Like, most of the things we have access for. Most of the things we have access for. Like, I don't have a problem with other movies, but I really think that this, like, it leaned a little too heavy on the, like, female power. We all have to work together.
You know what a harlequin is? A harlequin's role is to serve. It's nothing without a master. And no one gives two shits who we are beyond that.
But, like, Like, obviously, I like that she didn't stick around and join the team. I like that it set up Birds of Prey for them to possibly have their own movie. I like that the little girl, she stuck with her. Like, I genuinely liked the ending because it made sense to all of the characters involved. And it also, like, was, like, female badass, and I like it. The only thing I do have a comment on is that I felt like I didn't get enough backstory from Huntress. Like, we were with Montoya, we were with Canary, we were with Harley from the very beginning, and it just felt like we weren't with Huntress and we didn't get enough backstory that wasn't just a flashback. I feel like maybe if we started with her it would have been stronger, but who's to say? I really appreciated the movie. I give it a solid rating, a solid Cabernet, dry Cabernet. That's the drink that I choose to equate it with. Fight me if you think any different.
No one does it better. No one does it better than the Birds of Prey.
But I'm yummy.com. Thank you for coming to my Tipsy review, and don't worry, I'll be back, so Mr. J says I'll stay tuned.